Hey guys, Mighty Gazelle here, and I'm going to be reviewing Season 5, the final season of Samurai Jack. For those of you who've been following my channel for a while, you may be saying, wait, didn't you already review every episode of Samurai Jack this season? And the answer is yes, I did that, plus extra, as you guys know. But unlike the older seasons of Samurai Jack, which don't really have an overarching story for the most part, this new season was very much, every episode is connected. One ties into the next, ties into the next. And I figured it's only fitting to kind of look at the season as a whole to see how it impacted me and let you guys know what I thought about it. That and my content of Samurai Jack is wrapping up. This is probably the last major video that I'm going to have with Samurai Jack. I do have one discussion planned to record tomorrow with Hirohei. That should be a lot of fun. That should be a good wrap-up as well. But I want to give you guys my own individual thoughts before I dive into a discussion. Before I go any further, I think it's important for everyone to realize just how fortunate we were even to get this season. It's not too often where a show is off the air for 13 years and you get the original team, almost everyone behind it, back to finish the story as it should be, and to put so much love and effort into doing it. I can't really think of any other show that's gotten that treatment, to be honest. Feel free to correct me, but at least to this, hype level and everyone that cared so much about it. My dog is barking, so if it gets caught in the background, I apologize. He's probably barking at the gardeners. Anyway, so the fact, people who are fans of Teen Titans, I love Teen Titans. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I love the show. People have been waiting for a proper conclusion for that show, but it hasn't happened. Imagine, if it happened to that show, people would freak out as well. It's something that's so rare that happens, where a show comes back to life and finishes the story for its fans. It never happens. So, the fact that we got this season at all is simply amazing, and the fact it was done so well, it's a true testament to how much they actually cared. So, when I'm looking at this season and how I'm going to review this, obviously I'm not an expert. I've said that many times. I'm not a professional reviewer. I can only give you my opinion as a fan, and that's the best I can do, but hopefully you guys enjoy. If you ask me, Season 3 is divided into kind of 3 different arcs, loosely. I just took a little brief note as to what I mentioned by that. I think episode 1 through 3, 4 through 7, and 8 through 10 all represent different sort of tones and different, not messages, but different things about them. So I'm going to talk about each kind of arc one by one and then give my thoughts overall. So episode 1 through 3, on my notes I put Lone Wolf, fighting inner demons and dealing with serious issues. When we got the trailer for Season 5 of Samurai Jack, it was very high action, high octane. We're like, okay, cool, we're gonna get Jack on this epic adventure. He's gonna fight assassins. He's going to march his way to Aku, beat him, return to the past, and save the day. We had no idea, based on the trailer, that we would get such a deeply emotional and gripping story. I'm sure some people speculated that, but honestly, other than what Gandhi said, we had no idea that the show would take this direction. This first 3 episodes, in my opinion, it's honestly my favorite section of this season. I love the whole season, but this, especially episodes 2 and 3, I think episodes 2 and 3 are 10 out of 10, absolutely perfect storytelling in every way. I think those are the only 2 episodes in this whole season that are, to me, absolutely perfect. And I love every episode. But episode 1 through 3, like I said, Lone Wolf, he's been doing this for 50 years. He has no one that he really cares about with him. Sure, he's met and saved countless people, but he's not friends with them, really. He's just been going day to day fighting robots, and this whole time he's fighting his inner demons because they're starting to get to him, his failures, his transgressions, the people he's let down in the past. It's eating him alive inside. Even at one point, he contemplates suicide, which is incredibly deep. We would have never expected that based on the trailer or anything. when that happened, it was like, holy shit, this guy that is so stoic and strong, he's contemplating actually killing himself, you know? And it's just so deep and gripping, and Jack's visual, he's just, as a beard, he looks so rugged, and it all equates to just great storytelling. In episode 2, he's like, when he's in the tomb, and we get that amazing scene where the music and the daughters of Aku are hunting him, and that's like his breaking point. He's like just hiding in there, gripping onto that old rusty sword, like, is this it? And yet he still fights for his life. And then we get to episode 3. Oh, he kills someone for the first time. That impacts him emotionally. We get to episode 3, where the wolf that he helped, or he didn't help, but it was sort of a metaphor in the episode 2. We get him again in 3, and these are both just battle worn in their own right, and they've both killed, but it's not because they're evil, it's because that's what they needed to do. And then we get one of the most impactful scenes in the entire season, where it shows Jack's father fending for his wife and his son. He kills these people, but then he tells Jack that I'm gonna pull up the exact quote, but basically it's honestly one of the greatest like moments in the season, if you ask me. I took a screenshot of it so I wouldn't forget. The decisions you make and the actions that follow are a reflection of who you really are. Remember that quote, because I'm going to get to that later. But basically, it's the things that you do it doesn't make you bad, but it's a matter of why you do the things that you do. It's a reflection of who you are, like he says. And he kills the Sisters of Aku, and I think that right there is the spark. The spark that it doesn't fully put him back on track at all, but it's a start. And that concludes the first section of the 3 that I mentioned. Basically, the lone wolf section is over because we get introduced to Ashi. Now, we got introduced to her in the first arc, but not really more than just her training and stuff and things that she went through as growing up. Arc 2. I'm going to tell you guys what I put in my notes. I'm sorry, this is not professional. I just 4th or 7, spark a father that the father gives him sets him on the path, and his relationship with Ashi provides him strength. He defeats his inner demons by the end. So Ashi still hates Jack throughout most of these episodes. Actually, no, not most. I take that back. The first half, she still hates him, especially in the Primordial Beast episode. But we get a little bit of semblance of kindling of their relationship that's happening. Jack's still fighting his sort of inner demons, but the fact that he has someone with him, it kind of pulls him away from that. It kind of brings him to the outside world a little bit more. And as we go along, Jack starts to provide her with the truth of what Aku really has done to the world. And it's honestly just, it's so well done in the fact that dialogue isn't needed. It's very visual. Leaves up to interpretation to us. This is also where the tone sort of shifts, especially in episode 6, because it doesn't focus on Jack much at all. In episode 5, Jack heads off because he is finally ready to give up and commit suicide. And he follows the Omen. And Ashi is like, okay, I gotta find him now, because she's starting to grow attached to him. In episode 6, it's definitely a shift in tone in that she's looking for him, but this is a very cameo-heavy episode, which is great for the fans. I'm not complaining at all. It's great to know that Gendy knows that we love. And that, to me, people can argue that this time is wasted on the cameos and stuff. And you could definitely make that argument. I wouldn't hold it against you. But it's truly telling when in an age where we had like Teen Titans Go, where they didn't even watch the original series of Teen Titans, and they just shoehorn this slapstick humor crap that's on TV now, where we get a guy who comes back and after 13 years says, hey fans, you remember this? I know you remember this, because you told me for years you remember this. And I remember it too. And let's just all relish in this one last time together. We get the samurai, we get Demongo, we get all these characters that we love. And does it take away from the main story? You could argue it does. But at the same time, it's the creator letting us know that he loves this stuff too. And I think that's an okay decision to me. But it basically ends with Ashi pulling Jack away from committing seppuku. And Jack just... This is where Jax really, honestly, truly defeats his inner demons, in a way. This is not entirely, I'll get to that later, but at the end of episode 7, he sort of... That's when they both, okay, we got this, we're together now, like, not like romantically, but we're ready to set off and defeat Aku. We're gonna get my sword, and we're gonna get this done. And that leads me to the final section, one that I'm sure a lot of you are interested to hear about. Hold on. Again, not professional. I should have had this stuff all prepared. 8 through 10, love, dealing with loss, and moving ahead with hope. This is the arc where really the romance between Jack and Ashi is brought to the forefront in their relationship. Episode 8 is obviously the big one. That's where all the sexual innuendos and everything and them kissing. And this is such a stark contrast to... Actually, no, wait. I'm trying to make sure I have this right. 6 is the one with seppuku. 7, okay, yeah, 7 is the one where he gets his sword back. So, I'm sorry. Again, I'm all over the place. There's a lot of stuff to cover here. Episode 7 is where he gets his sword back. He meditates, and if there's anything left of him, any sort of imbalance, like the monk says, it gets washed away when his alter ego, his, like, the fears and the sadness that was in him sort of like outbreak, and it's like mad at Jack, and Jack just says, enough, be gone, and he's gone. And then the gods are like, okay, you're cleansed again, and here's your sword. And Jack is visually clean, and he's spiritually cleaned. That doesn't mean he still has scars from the past, because those are scars, as we'll talk about in a little bit. But anyway, I just want to mention, I also really hate the gods in Samurai Jack. I'm going to mention this in the discussion with Hirohei, but I have a rant to say about them. They're pretty not cool. So Jack is cleaned visually and spiritually, and then him and Ashi set off on their adventure, and episode 8 is the one where the romance kicks in. I got ahead of myself. And this is such a huge, just stark contrast between this and episode 2 and 3, you know? This is more of old school Jack, in a way, kind of. In terms of his goofiness, his awkwardness that we all kind of love. It's kind of brought back. And obviously they kiss, and their romance happens, and episode 9, the truth comes out that Ashi is Aku's daughter. And obviously this sets up a tragic situation where it's like, how is this going to play out? We didn't know heading into the finale how this is going to play out. So that leads me to the finale. Now, at the time of this recording, the finale's already been out for like 4 days. And honestly, people are generally not happy with it. There are people saying it's rushed. There's people saying, why did Ashi have to die? There's a lot of complaints. And honestly, I agree with most of them. My biggest complaint with how the series wrapped up, and okay, let me first, I'm going to mention this in my discussion with Hirohei, but feel free to hate me for saying this, but I can only express my opinion, and this is just how I feel. I agree with everything that was done plot-wise. The 3 main things being Aku dying, I agree with Jack returning to the past, and I agree with the decision for Ashi to die. Now, before you freak out, I would have definitely preferred for Ashi and Jack to live together happily. For sure. I think that, like, obviously everyone wants to see a happy ending. But after some reflection and thought on this, I completely understand why he had Ashi die. And I think it's important to realize this isn't fact, this is only speculation, but to me this is as true as it can be. Ashi knew that when she sent them back to the past, that she knew Jack killing Aku in the past to make her cease to exist. Genndy is a master of subtle imagery. And there is a scene when they're traveling back through time where Jack looks around and he closes his eyes and he smiles because he knows this is finally it. And we look at Ashi and she's not smiling, she actually looks concerned. If you go back and look, she actually looks concerned with her facial expression. But then she looks at Jack and she grabs his hand, and then when she looks at him, they look at each other, she then starts to smile. And I think that's letting us know that she knows she's going to die, but she did it for Jack. And I think that makes this ending so much more impactful. There's a lot of reasons why Ashi did this. Throughout the season, Jack has not only he's expressed how much he misses his family in the past, how much he wishes this future, the suffering that he's experienced over the 50 years to all these people and these places, the people that have perished, like Scaramouche walking into that village and slaughtering everyone, things like that. That's happened over the course of 50 years, plus the thousands of years that Aku's been in reign. And Jack wants nothing more than to restore the land back to how it was before evil, the future that is Aku, happened. This is brought up when Jack shows her the forest that's nothing left but a tree. She can only imagine everything how beautiful it was before, but it's gone now. And the quote, remember that quote that I told you to remember that I didn't remember, but now I have to look up again. Remember that quote because that's important as to Ashi's decision. The decisions you make and the actions that follow are a reflection of who you really are. The ultimate form of love that you can show someone is self-sacrifice. It goes above and beyond any material thing that you can ever show anyone. She loved him so much that she was willing to give up her own life and existence for his happiness. And whether you agree with it or not, I think that is so deeply moving. It makes me incredibly sad because obviously I want to see them together, but the fact that she loved him, just like, because remember, when faced with the choice of killing Ashi or giving up, he would rather die than kill Ashi. He dropped his sword right in front of Aku and gave up. He would rather die than kill Ashi. Not only that, but all these people that come and help Jack, all these people that watched on the television, they saw Aku told them why the samurai was doing what he was doing. He wanted to undo the future that was Aku. He wanted to return to the past. And Aku said, that's not going to happen now. This samurai is going to die. And instead of letting that happen, these people that Jack has helped, these people that living a good life now because of Jack, they are coming to his rescue, knowing very well that they're probably going to die. This is Aku. But they will do anything they can to help him, because Jack has sacrificed all this time his own goal to help these people. And now it's their turn to sacrifice to help him. And honestly, and remember the Scotsman, when he leads his army to attack Aku, even though the odds are bleak, he brought his own daughters to the battle. That's a dangerous proposition. But he wants to kill Aku too. The whole world hates Aku. And even if it means wiping their own existence away, undoing all the terror and the haunting nature of the world that Aku has brought, they are willing to give up their lives to help Jack return to the past and have him have his happiness. And honestly, it's bittersweet, just like Genndy said, just like everyone said. It sucks, but these people, they care so much about Jack, we care about Jack, and this is the best thing for him. to return to the past, to not live in this future that has been scarred by Aku. And for everyone who's saying that he should have stayed in the future and built a better tomorrow, of course you could do that, but that's not the point. The point is that these people realize what Jack has given up for them, and they're returning the favor. And yes, Jack deserves to be happy, but look at what these people have done for him. That's so moving. To me, personally, I think that's incredibly moving. And that's what I love about the finale. I do not like how it felt rushed. Like I said, I agree with the plot decisions, but I don't like how I think this finale could have used the 45-minute treatment, because I think that this would have been so much better explained with some extra scenes, some dialogue. And I think the biggest sin, there's two, of the finale that I cannot really accept, and I feel like it kind of sucks. The battle between Jack and Aku was bad. Part of the thing that made their rivalry so great was the dialogue that they had between them in the original series. It was so great. These are arch enemies, and they didn't even talk to each other like once in the finale. Then you have like one scene where they're talking to each other. And same with Ashi. I wish they really had at least a couple more scenes of them just talking. I'm not going to dive into like why she disappeared when she did. That's a whole different discussion that goes into like the time theory and stuff. Like Hirohei did a great job of explaining that. You know, I'm not going to go in depth there, but yeah, I think that the ending is just profound. It's very sad, but that's what I think that Genndy chose the way he did. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I really appreciate the ending. Again, not the one I would have wanted, but I think it's the one we needed. Again, I can just say, me as a fan, my opinion is not law. That's the point of, you know, videos like this, just expressing an opinion. So yeah, season 5. Honestly, it was gripping, emotional, beautifully animated. The music was fantastic. The overall story of Jack redeeming himself and growing and meeting this wonderful person and defeating Aku. The ending could have been an hour. I think if it was an hour, this season would have been 10 out of 10 perfect. I think it's like a 9 out of 10 this season. I think it's fantastic, and the fact that we even got it in the first place is simply incredible. I've said all I wanted to say. My Samurai Jack content is wrapping up, like I said, but stay tuned for a few more videos. I'll make sure to let you guys know what's going on in the coming days. But I wanted to make this video to sort of give my thoughts on the season as a whole. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for my discussion with Hirohei. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until next time, this has been Mighty Gazelle, and I hope you all have a mighty day. See you guys.